All right. Hi, good afternoon. My name is John Hilburn. All right. Today I'm doing our lab that's discussing the skin, compact bone, and the skull, and some more of the body. All right. The compact bone and the head and torso. Sorry. So today I am going to show you what I'm using. I'm in my office today. I'm a recruiter. So today I'm using our little buddy right here to help demonstrate, or not demonstrate, but point out the head, torso area, as well as I did some illustrations. Okay, I labeled them skin just so I can know where I'm going with this. But there, as you can see, there's no wording on there except for that one. There's my label, my cover sheet, and so on. Okay, and I have the list of what I went over and markings to make sure that I had all of them correct. Okay, so first I'm gonna be discussing is the skin, right? So in the very top of this area right here, so I just wrote an arrow, all right? So hopefully I don't get taken points off for that, but it's the papillary layer, all right? This is a connection tissue that helps fight the bacteria, okay, and other infections, so on, right, with the skin. All right, right below the papillary layer is the reticular layer, all right? This is thicker than the papillary area, and it is used to help carry the nerves and stuff like that. All right, and in this area is the sebaceous gland. All right, so the sebaceous gland is an oil gland, and it helps give hair and skin waterproof. It helps make them waterproof. Okay, and right on this side of the drawing is the hypodermis. The hypodermis is right below the dermis, and connects the skin to the bone. Up here is the basement membrane, which effectively binds the endothelium, I believe so, to the connective tissue. Okay, so that is my illustration. All right, so the next one, I'm sorry, is the blood vessels and the nerves. Okay, so first of all, the blood vessels. I don't believe there's much to say in the blood vessels except that there's three of them. All right, so the three are the arteries, the veins, and the capillaries, and all they pretty much do is help carry the blood, and they protect the blood, make sure it does, if you didn't have them to go all loose everywhere. The arteries help protect or help push pure blood. The veins pure blood, and the capillaries are just little small outer tubes that help out. Okay, and over here in the nerve, you have the nucleus, all right, which is the main portion of the cell body, all right. And this little area right here and this area right here, the little lightning strikes, as you can see, this one's the axon something, can't remember, and this one is the dendrites, right? And they pretty much give little signals to each other, right? They're like nerve endings of the nerve. Okay. Next picture on here is part of the compact bone. All right. So this one was pretty hard to illustrate. As you can see, this right here out of our textbook is this blown up picture is this picture of a bone. Okay. So up here is the periosteum. All right. It is the outer layer of the bone right here, and it helps protect the outer surface of the bone. Right. It carries blood vessel, nerves, and lymphatic vessels. Right. As you see, I illustrated some blood vessels right here. Okay. Next is, all right, this one, there's a lot going on in this one. All right. All right, this is the diaphragm. The diaphragm was pretty easy understanding of it. It's the bottom of the thoracic cage. All right, it's the base of it. And now this picture. This picture is called the osteon. And the osteon is, I believe, the whole concept of this, but broken down into different layers. You have, what's this one again? This is a centurion, I believe. All right, and it contains blood vessels and nerves. Then you have the concentric tissues, or it's concentric lamellae, right? Something like that. Tubes that make up the osteon. All right. Down here you have the outer layer of it, and it's a circumferential lamella, and it circles around the inner and outer of the sternum, the azure, the ostium. Down here at the bottom, you have the lacuna. It is between the cartilage and the bone. And then you have, I want to say it's these little squiggly lines, right? And they are the canaliculi, right? And they are canals around the bone, right? There's a lot going on in this picture. I hope I did my best describing it. If not, please message me and I can hope clarify some of it. All right, the next one is the skin. I'm particularly proud of this picture because it contains a lot of drawings. All right, and I did have them written down here, but you can see I erased them the best I can so I could try and memorize them. So if you want, I could just cover them. There's nothing there, you can't really read them. So anyway, right here, the top layer is a sternum corneum, right? And functions between the body and the environment, okay? Right below this is a stratum, and they're all pretty much stratum, first word, stratum lucidum, and it protects the skin and palms and the hands and the feet, all right? This is like the one extra layer that the rest of the body does not have. This portion right here is the stratum gondolium, I believe, something with a G. All right, it contains lipids to form water and barrier between fluid loss and so on. Down here, this is a weird one. It's something like keratocene, and it produces a nucleus, and it produces and protects the keratocytes. All right, and this layer right here, it gets a little crazy in my drawing, but this is the sternum case, I believe. I can't really remember. And this is what protects the skin from UV light. All right, down here you have, this would be the dermis, and so on. Okay, and the next page is, boom. Now we'll get into our bones. All right, so I'm just going to show you real quick that I did do the illustrations. All right, but I'm going to use our little friend here to help explain them. Okay, so the first one right here, the back side of our little buddy, we have the tailbone, or otherwise known as the coccyx. All right, it's a tailbone. Right above the tailbone is the sacrum. There you go. Can't believe I missed that. Sacrum, and it carries a lot of the weight, but not all of it. Right. So right above the sacrum, we have the lumbar part of the vertebrae. Right. It goes L1 to L5, and this is the most weight bearing of all portion of the lumbar. Right above that, the lumbar L1 through 5, we have the thoracic 1 through 12. All right. This protects the thoracic cage, helps keep it your frame, your torso, all that stuff together, helps you keep sitting upright, and helps protect your thoracic cage. Thoracic cage, it protects your vital organs, your heart, your lungs, your liver, kidneys, and so on. All right. Right above that, we have the cervical portion of the lumbar, which is L1 through 7. This holds up your neck, protects your helps hold up your head, your and all this area. Okay, and then next picture that we would show is, all right, this is depicting the this portion right here is talking about the abdomen, pretty much. All right, you have the rectus abdominis. All right, rectus abdominis is pretty much from the top of the trunk to the bottom. It's known as the sit-up muscle. That's how I remembered it when I was studying it, the sit-up muscle. And then you got the obliques right here, which function as, say if you were like putting, the way the book gave it was actually, if I remember correctly, putting your hands in your pocket. That's how it's framed, right? Right here is and it's a very strange name with an S. It's very long. muscle. I am butchering it horribly, and I'll probably get points taken away for that, but I apologize. But this muscle helps rotate the head, all right? This is what gives your neck muscle to turn left or right, up and down, okay? All right, the next picture would be trapezoid muscle, boom, right here. And it helps tilt the head and neck back and forward, all right? And then over here is the sternum, all right? The sternum protects the body and the heart, and is also called the breastbone, all right? To depict it on here, so this portion right here would be the freaking thoracic muscle, all right, up in there, and then you have the sternum in here, okay? I actually did a pretty good job drawing. All right, the next one would be some skull, all right? So here we're going to talk about the papillary bone, all right? It's the forms most of the upper lateral of the skull, all right? The frontal portion of it is the frontal bone, actually, and it forms the forehead, as you can tell. We have this bottom portion is a single bone that's actually not attached to the skull, but it's a occipital bone, I believe. I'm sorry, no, it's not. The occipital is this bone, and this is a single portion of the bone that is not really part of the cavity. All right, down here is a hyoid, right? Because I remember it called like Hawaii and separated. And it's an independent bone that is not connected to the skull, but helps it out, obviously. Yeah, the mandible right here. Mandible is an irregular bone, and it's the only portion of the entire skull that moves. You have the maxilla, which I believe the maxilla is more like the cheekbone, right? And it helps form the upper jaw area. And then the nasal bone right here obviously helps form the nose and the base of the nose. And then you have the sphenoid, which is the bottom portion of the skull, okay? And all that is on right here. The picture on a little buddy, all right? And so on, the nasal bone, the mandible, and all that good stuff, all right? So the next one would be the front portion, all right? So this one right here, like stated before, is the occiput bone, right? It forms the frontal portion that holds the brain, right? You have the parietal bone, right? It's the upper portion of the side of the skull. It helps protect the brain. All this helps always protect the brain. You have the temporal bone that helps protect the temple and forms the lower portion of the skull. And then you have the iliac bone, which is the cheekbone, all right? It's something with Z, something like that. I apologize. And then lastly, well, actually, we went over this already, but this is just my depiction of the drawing of the vertebrae. I think that is it. If you have anything else, please feel free to contact me. That's my friend that was helping me out by being here, all right? He was going to hold it, but I decided not to. Why am I facing myself? My friend AD, all right? And thank you.